Alright guys, welcome to the Legendary Banner impressions for Hector's Banner. This is for June 28th, and I'd say this is pretty amazing. As I predicted, it is definitely one of the best Legendary Banners that is coming up that we've had. I think this is hands down the best one we've had. The only one comparable I would say is probably the one before, if you wanted Hardened Winter Robin of Fjorm. That's like the only one that's definitely most comparable to this. This is amazing. If you haven't saved Warps for this, you haven't listened to any of my other Should You Pull videos, man, you're missing out, and I hope you're either ready to spend a lot of money to try to get units here, or skip it and hope for in the future that we get as much value as this. There's a lot of rules that were broken from my predictions. There were only 3 seasonal units that showed up instead of 4, and they didn't double up on seasonals. The 2 male, 2 female thing definitely continued, and Hector here is amazing. So let's get into it and let's talk about it.
Sitting on some throne isn't really my style.
Alright, so here it is, the 3rd Axe Armor Hector. He is Fire Blessed, and as you can see here, he gives an attack bonus to your units. Yeah, Axe Armor again, big surprise. But he looks like a promoted version of the other two. This looks like the ultimate Axe Armor Hector, so I like this look a lot. The art is amazing, and I thought LA Hector couldn't be beat, but this looks awesome. I don't mind a guy showing a little bit of skin, but this looks awesome too. So Hector's one of my favorite characters, as a lot of you already know, but if you don't know, well, it is, and Hector's great. Let's look at his skills and see how meta-defining he truly will be. First, armor legendary hero as well. This means that he is by far the highest scoring unit out of all the legendary heroes combined, individually of course. Alright, here it is. Let's talk about what these skills actually mean for team comps and what implications it has on the arena scoring system as well, if you care about any of that. So, first of all, Thunder Armads, legendary weapon, grants defense 3. We can first of all expect that this likely will be usable on the other Hectors. If they kind of followed the patterns here, I feel like original Hector might be able to upgrade to this, and we might see LA Hector upgrading to Thunder Armads. It'll just give them more options so that they can compete with this Hector. Overall though, I don't know if this is strictly better than the other ones, but there is a lot of cool things you can do with it. So if you don't understand what the text means, number of allies within 2 spaces is greater than number of foes within 2 spaces. Foe cannot make a follow-up attack. It's like Worry Fighter, but you need more friends around you. In the player's hands, this is really powerful because you can position in a way that you'll never get doubled as long as you have friends around you. And since he's armor, you pretty much always want to have friends around you. Armor marches, ward armor stacking, regardless, drives, spurs, all that stuff means that you generally should be using him on the enemy phase and baiting things in. If you use Thunder Armads, I think it's a way to kind of prevent you from using Bold Fighter. Like, this Hector is definitely going to be better on the enemy phase rather than the player phase due to the effect of Thunder Armads. We don't know his stat spread yet. For all we know, he might have like super high speed, but yeah, it's like a Worry Fighter effect. One thing I want to notice though is that he does come with Vengeful Fighter, and the Worry Fighter is strictly on the enemy, it's not on him, so Vengeful Fighter means that he's going to double and the enemies don't. However, there are ways that circumvent this. For instance, if he does have low speed, Axe Breaker becomes a speed check and the unit will double anyways. If a unit runs Bold Fighter like Zelgius, he's going to double anyways. This is assuming Hector has low speed. He could totally break that trend and just, yeah, he could just literally be fast, but we don't know yet, not until tomorrow. I don't think he will be. He's never been a fast unit. He's been decent speed at best from his original game. One thing to notice is you can actually stack Thunder Armads with Worry Fighter and you get like a double Worry Fighter effect, and that pretty much beats all those speed checks like Bold Fighter and Axe Breaker. So that's really cool. It's kind of like the original Hector, except he can't run like double Worry Fighter with double Quick Riposte with Worry Fighter, which means he's not going to double back. You stop him from doubling if you choose to run that. But I don't think Bold Fighter will be that great on him, just the way the Thunder Armads work, and you can't switch it over to Berserk. If you could switch his Armads to Berserk, this Hector would be ridiculous. Either way, super solid. He comes with Distant Counter. Again, big surprise, right? Every single Hector has Distant Counter and all the Ikes have Breathing. Now here's the kicker in this whole thing that makes Hector ridiculous. Osteo's Pulse. This is a new skill that is like an attack tactic, defense tactic, speed tactic, or res tactic, but it applies to special cooldown. Now, I can guarantee that this skill is not exclusive. Sorry, it is exclusive. It is not inheritable, because every single legendary hero has had some sort of exclusive skill locked to them. It will be 300 SP. It's the first C skill we've had that is exclusive to him, and it's ridiculous. This means that some units are going to become so strong in mixed team comps because of Hector. Like, you can now officially run flyers with Gale Force, and they don't need to have quick impulse, and they'll always get like a turn 1 Gale Force, like running Fire Sweep Lance with Heavy Blade, and you don't, you know, you just give them Hector on the team, and that's it. Like, it's super useful for that. Lilina just got better. The thing that was restricting Lilina in her AoE build was the fact that she couldn't benefit from attack tactic because you had to run her with 3 other infantry pulse teams. Well, Daddy's here, and apparently if you run two Hectors, 2 of these guys with 2 Osteos Pulse, 1 unit with infantry pulse, and Lilina, she can now officially benefit from attack tactic from that other infantry unit. And yeah, that's ridiculous. Or if they give us attack tactic seal, it's gonna depend whether we get that or not. But definitely the potential will be there for it in the future. Super cool in that way. Yeah, other than that, I mean, what happens here is that the BST ceiling is going to not likely increase. I don't think they'll do it here. If they're going to do it, they might do it around the Choose Your Legends time, not here. And the score ceiling for arenas will increase because we don't have an armored legendary hero, so it should go up to about 756. So for those of you that chase arena, this is very important that you start adding merges to Hector as soon as you can. One thing I'll mention right away is please do not fodder him for distant counter. Please. Hector's going to show up on banners. He's going to show up soon from when this video comes out, and he's also going to show up as pity breaks. Regular Hector should now be the distant counter fodder, not this. Merges on Legendary Heroes comes as first priority, okay? The implications here from Osteos Pulse are huge. And the last thing I want to mention for those of you at the top of the arena, Osteos Pulse combined with Zelgius means that your guard will not work if he's running Bold Fighter, right? He hits you on enemy phase or player phase. If he's running Quick Impulse, you can run some really huge shenanigans now. If Zelgius is running Slaying Edge with Quick Impulse and he gets an Osteos Pulse as well, yeah, that's an instant charge Black Luna regardless of what phase it is. So now you have to make sure your arena checks can all survive Black Luna if you're up there fighting Zelgius. Even if you're not up there and you see that in the lower brackets, make sure you have a counter to him because that will one-shot a lot of units. There's other really cool builds you can do too with like Wodao Black Lunas, super short charges. Steady Breath Bold Fighter got a lot better because if you attack into him, he instantly Black Lunas you back without requiring a Quick Impulse. Or if you give him Quick Impulse now, if you're running guard, he can actually break through guard by having Quick Impulse and Osteos Pulse. It goes down to 1 charge on Zelgius, and he hits you, it's down to 0, and then he hits back with Black Luna, and there's no way to stop that. So absolutely ridiculous, and it's going to change the meta in a way that I've been asking for. So welcome here, Hector. Nice animation. Really nice animation. It's actually completely the same as it was from FE7, how he twirls his axe like that. Alright, so here we go. I'm gonna play through these, and then I'll give you my opinions on the rest of the units. Hector's amazing, but let's look at the rest of these. I'll give you a thumbs up or a thumbs up or thumbs down what I think on these units. Elise, Bike, Winter Tharja, Myrrh, mostly up. I would say like this, but mostly up. Legendary Ike, yep. Even if you don't need merges, Warding Breath. LA Lin, absolutely. LA Roy, wah, wah, wah. L Ephraim, yep. Definitely the best Blue Lands Cav. F Morgan, yep. F Grima, yep. Leaf. At least it's not Saber. Actually, at this point, maybe Saber would have been better with Shield Pulse. At least it wasn't Luke. Okay, let's talk about the actual individual units and what each color implies for whether you should be summoning here and which ones are good quality or not. So you have to consider fodder And you have to consider that if you're going to be summoning on these banners, you should be okay with all units of a color, because sniping on legendary banners usually results in disappointment unless you have over 200 orbs. We'll talk about the mathematics in a second, but generally don't walk into these legendary banners with less than 200 orbs and expect to get a specific unit. Sniping has always been that way, and a lot of people say bait banner. Well, the reason it's a bait banner is because you don't have enough orbs and you haven't saved enough to target specific units, okay? 40 to 50 orbs is generally good enough to get one 5-star, but it's not good enough to get what you want. We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's look at the colors themselves. Make sure you choose a specific color you want. You like all those units from that color, and go for it. I'm going to actually start with what I think is probably the most surprising thing that most people don't see here. And honestly, if you're unsure about this banner and you want your value out of it, blue is actually the best value you can have from this banner. Yes, blue. What, teacher? Why? Well, the reason you want blue is because LA Lin, to start off, has attack speed bond, which I would consider to be the best bond, most likely. It's comparable to attack defense or attack res, but it's definitely very good. You have guard on her, you have armor march on her. Okay, those are really good fodder. Blue gift is whatever, but those three are super good for fodder. She's also a really good unit. Then you have F. Morgan, who has Blar Serpent, still unique to her. Mirror Stance, which I consider actually better than like distant defense. Any unit that wants distant defense would also appreciate Mirror Stance, especially like guard bow users. Like if you give it to Faye or Xander, for instance, Mirror Stance is amazing. Don't sleep on that skill. Again, she has guard. And again, she's also a really good unit. So blue is super good. And Legendary Ephraim is still the best blue Landscav. So if you're looking for safe blue options, that's where you got to go. Legendary Ephraim is a mergeable legendary hero. He's going to add to your score. You can add him with Hector in the team, and they will destroy things, okay? They're different colors. So blue, if you want your safest option, you don't want to be disappointed, blue is really good. Moving on from best to worst, right to the worst, we're just going to talk about colorless, okay? I am severely disappointed with how colorless turned out here. Before people tell me, but Elise is here. Well, if you've looked at my other analysis videos, the way I look at things is if you look at the 3 or 4-star pool, you can actually just build up a Priscilla, you can build up a Nana, you can build up a Clarine, and there's gonna be like just 2 or 3 numbers difference between those units merged up and Elise, okay? Elise unfortunately has nothing that stands out. She doesn't have a preference weapon. Because of that, she is not going to be a great pull, okay? You can build up any of the other horse healers and they will definitely be comparable with the right IVs. So I guess if Elise is your waifu, but again, if Elise is your waifu, this is not the banner for it. You should be summoning on a focus banner with Elise there. So, not good. And of course, we have our boy Roy. Well, our boy Roy has nothing. He has a bow that is worse than Bravelin's bow, okay? Bravelin has the same bow, but legendary weapon. He has nothing. Don't tell me Death Blow 3, okay? That means you haven't pulled any clients. He's a great unit though, yes, I admit that. As one copy, if you can get a plus attack version, he's basically a colorless Reinhardt. So again, Elise and Boy are both good to have as one units, but unless you plus 10 them, they're so disappointing for fodder, it's ridiculous. F. Grima, again, is sharing with what I would consider 2 disappointing colorless units. Sorry, guys. Okay, so obviously, green and red. Let's have a good discussion here on why green and red are super good. Unfortunately, they're both plagued with 1 out of 3 units not being that good for most people, I would say. A lot of these units on this banner, this whole banner, getting 1 copy of all these units is good. So you really shouldn't be disappointed with anything that you get, even like Roy or Elise, but in general, if you want to be spending hundreds of orbs, red, green, and blue are definitely the way to go, but you have to consider how you feel about certain units from that color. So, red, for instance, we have Winter Tharja, Legendary Ike, huge, super good value units. We have Close Counter, Vengeful Fighter, we have Warding Breath, okay, those are all really good, and we have Candelabra, which is a super unique red tome, and it's also really good. So red is good, but the problem is it's kind of like ruined by Leaf. And the thing is, if you don't have a Leaf, then okay, it's good for that 1 copy of Leaf, but any additional Leafs will end up in a feels bad man situation. So yeah, unless you go for plus 10 Leaf, that is, every time you see a Leaf, you could be sad because you know, it could have been a Winter Tharja or a Legendary Ike because they're sharing, and that's the only thing he has is Drive Attack. But he's a really unique unit, and I think I definitely will try him out if I get him. As for green, we have Hector, amazing unit, will be meta defining, super unique. That Ostium Pulse is amazing, so yeah. But he's sharing it with Bike, and Bike is great. Steady Breath fodder, it can always use this on hundreds of units. they all use it really well. And finally, the disappointment is actually Myr, okay? Even though she has Honed Dragons, you can't really throw Honed Dragons on like everyone, okay? Honed Dragons, it's going to be useful on certain units. I would say you give it to your defensive units, maybe give it to Adultiki and then Ninian, and then like all your additional units there will be kind of like not so useful with it. So Myr is one of those units that's great with one copy, and that's even assuming you have distant counter, because she's really good once you give her distant counter. But other than that, again, it's that 1 copy or 10 copy situation. So additional Leafs and Myrs will be kind of disappointing, but yeah, you're gonna have to, you know, go for the long mile there, or just accept that 2 out of 3 units here is what you're going to go for. It also means things like M. Grima should show up later, and we should see NY Camilla on like the next legendary banners. So let's talk about the mathematics. For those of you that haven't been saving orbs, well, this is primarily targeted at you. Make sure you know what to expect walking into these things, okay? So, bunch of pie graphs. What does this all mean, teacher? Well, I'm here to tell you. So, legendary banners are good value if you don't target specific things. Definitely, you know, if you're going in here for value of your orbs, you always walk out. As long as you're not expecting things, you'll walk out happy. Now, as soon as you start expecting things, that's where things go really badly. So let's start off with green, because green is definitely what most people will be like, OMG, I really want to walk in here getting stuff. Well, first of all, 2.3% chance is your odds of getting a specific green legendary hero here. Green, just green hero, green 5-star focus unit. So that would be the Hector, Myr, or Bike, right? 2.3%, that's not too good. It's almost like a 1 in 40-ish chance of getting a specific unit. You have good odds if you don't care which one you get, which is 7%. But yeah, average orbs saved, 172 orbs to target a specific unit from green. This means that if you don't walk in here with 172 orbs targeting Hector, if you don't have the minimum of that, don't walk out saying, you know, this is a Bay banner, because it's not. You just didn't have the right amount of orbs. Also consider that 122 orbs means that every second person will probably get like a Hector. So you may not end up being that. But 90th percentile, we've got to talk about this. If you don't walk into these with 400 orbs, that means 1 in 10 people have saved 400 orbs, spent it, and didn't walk out with Hector, okay? These legendary banners are very dangerous for sniping. Very dangerous for sniping if you don't have hundreds of orbs. I've experienced it myself, and I have to make sure I pass on that message. But in contrast, look what happens when you're okay with any of the units. 90th percentile, you only spend about 130 orbs for, you know, one of the 3 green heroes, right? That's not so bad. Every 60 orbs, and this is just sniping. This is just sniping. If you're comfortable with red and green, well, these numbers decrease because you'll end up getting more and more 5-stars. In fact, if you were to full circle, spend 20 orbs and pull everything, then you could end up getting, you know, 1 5-star almost every second summoning circle. That's really good value compared to sniping on focus banners. So yeah, okay, so that's the stuff for green. Green is actually the best odds for getting 5-star focus units because the pool is so small, it's not so saturated. Going on, we have the blue, and blue is, it's not as good as colorless. It's not as good as colorless. Colorless is a little bit better, but I'm gonna say straight up, please don't summon colorless here. Just don't. It's not good. In terms of priority, it totally depends on what you guys want, but red and green I'd say are the best for sure if you're okay with Leaf and Myr, or get like 1 copy of them and just stop with red and green. Blue is the safest for fodder, or you're not really interested in anything from red and green. That's how I consider these. But colorless, I'm not even going to look at colorless because I highly don't recommend using that. So blue is still going to be better than red. Red is the most saturated, but it's a minor difference. As you'll see, you need about 200 orbs for blue, 196, and 205 for red to get one specific 5-star focus unit that you're looking for. For instance, you'll see a Winter Tharja about 1 in 205 orbs, but the worst case scenarios go up to about 462 orbs. 1 in 10 people have to spend 462 orbs for 1 copy of Winter Tharja. And of course, yeah, for blue it's about 443. It just depends on how saturated the pool is. Average for red, 69 orbs. This means you can expect every, you know, about 69 orbs you'll get 1 out of red. So I hope you get the idea of what this means, and you've looked at these numbers yourself to get a better gauge of what you're looking into. And yeah, definitely spend your orbs, guys. This is where you go. Red, green, and blue. definitely let me know what you guys end up as a result. You can leave it in the comments below. Who are you looking for? What are you going to be pulling for? How many orbs have you saved? And how many do you plan to spend, okay? I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.